Hi, this is Dorothy with Dot Scrapbooking. So today I am going to do the project 1 of You Are Enough. So we've done all of the cutting, and I kind of took a little time to put all the pieces together with their appropriate backgrounds. So I did miss one piece, which is a 6.5 by 12 ballerina, excuse me, that was supposed to go behind the speckled paper, but I will show you how I made up for that. So this is the glorious background, which is just a watercolor wash that was printed that way. So it's absolutely beautiful, just light and airy and flowy looking, and I just think it's really, really lovely. So I'm using my Close to My Heart layout mat and just putting a little tack of Tombow in the couple of the corners to just kind of hold the paper in place so I can get as straight placement of all the pieces as possible. So there's going to be the speckly background of the butterflies, and then we've got two bluebell cardstock pieces that are for the 3x4, two 3x4 pictures. So these little pencil marks that I'm erasing were for the placement of the thin cut, the small butterfly thin cut. And they have measurements that I tried to follow, but you know, sometimes I get measurements wrong. So anyway, I'm just erasing those little light pencil marks that I made. So the instructions, when I first started reading the instructions, it was a little confusing to me when they were talking about, measuring on the, below the picture on the instructions is a lightened version of the whole picture. And then on top of the picture are all these measurements that kind of show you where to put the various pieces, like 1 1/4 inches over from the left, or 1 1/4 inches over from the right, or 1 inch down from the top, that kind of thing. So you kind of have an idea of where everything goes. I didn't quite understand when they were talking about 6 and 6.5 inches that they were talking about on that centerpiece itself to kind of show the placement of the stamping that we're going to do. And I think I made that one middle butterfly, I made him too high. He was supposed to come down much closer to the second butterfly from the bottom. But that's okay, because I'm going to do my stamping one on top and one on below that butterfly. So not a big deal, just a little adjustment. I was probably an inch off in that placement, or maybe 3/4 of an inch off. So here's the stamp set that we're going to use that came with the bundle. And there are some You Are and I Am, beautiful, strong, enough, brave, and wonderful. And so we're going to use the I Am Beautiful. And these are the ink colors that go with this whole You Are Enough pages. So I'll have those handy. And the first one that we're going to use is Bluebell. And so what you want to do is use a stamp block that is as small as you can, so that you don't have too much block that can kind of take up ink where you don't want it to, and then it'll get transferred from the block onto your papers, and you don't want that. I mean, you know, if it happens, you put an embellishment on top of it or something. But for the most part, you try to avoid doing that. So I am going to go ahead and use their suggested phrase, which is I am beautiful. And I'm going to put the beautiful on the longer block, and it's a much thicker font. I'm going to go ahead and kind of pre-seasoning the stamp by rubbing it on my skin, and that just helps to prepare the stamp to take some ink. And before, I mean, even though you do that, I always want to make sure that the stamp is stamping correctly. And it is, the biggest problem to the stamping is me. And I do like the thin letters because somehow I'm a little bit better. I have better results with the thin letters than I do with the thick letters, but what can I say? You do have the choice if you want to flip the butterflies going to the left or to the right. You could flip them over and do that. Just kind of up to you. I don't know if there's something that says something's better going off to the right. I don't know. But anyway, so here we go. I'm going to put the I am above that middle butterfly. And so that comes out great. And then I'm going to do my beautiful. And, most of the beautiful comes out okay. I think that I didn't get quite enough ink on the last couple of letters. So here goes my beautiful. Now, if I wanted to, I could flip this over and start again or try to stamp it a second time. But, sometimes the enemy of good is better. And so my last two letters are they're not quite perfect. But you know what? I'm not either. So I'm going to, it would have been a good time to just go ahead and put that on the bottom there. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to Tombow the white cardstock onto the speckle. And so then we get our speckly butterflies. Putting quite a bit of Tombow on there. I don't want it to move around. So, and trying to put it down straight, and I didn't quite get there. So I have a little bit of the speckly part showing off to the right-hand side there. And so I'm going to just trim just a teensy bit off of that right-hand side with my my Fiskars trimmer, my paper trimmer. But I also was thinking that kind of what I want to do, because it's a lot of white there. At first I was thinking of trimming with the scissors, but I'm not going to get as good an edge. And that one edge of the white cardstock was a little fuzzy, so it wasn't perfect either. So I'm just taking a scooch off of the end there. And so not any kind of consequential amount. And so then you end up with a nice sharp edge. So, and sometimes the papers aren't exacting or your placement isn't exacting and you get a little bit off to the edge. And you can always do that to fix any kind of, little bit that's not quite right on the edge of your paper. So I learned that from my upline. So she showed that and was like, oh, so you can do that and not just obsess over something not being perfectly aligned with the edges. So I'm using my Bluebell shimmer brush. Now this is not in the instructions or in the, required inks that you need to have, but as you saw, I hadn't used my Bluebell shimmer brush yet. What am I waiting for? These beautiful butterflies. That's what I'm waiting for. And so it's not smart to put speckles on your gorgeous background. So it was kind of a last minute thought to do this. So I'm just bringing some ink down, putting it on my block, and then just ever so slightly picking up a little ink and knocking the pen against my finger just to get some really fine splatters on that piece. And then there seems to be something in me that says you have to fill up white space. You don't, just saying, but it's just a thing that I've got. And Ginger's talking to us again. So I'm trying to figure out just exactly how I want it to go. So when you measure, I've got to put the Tombow on there, and now I've got, wet shimmer. So I didn't really think that out. But I'm putting the Tombow on the back, and then when I flip it over, I'm going to put it on the front. Now, I will tell you right now, there's a piece of 6.5 by 12 ballerina cardstock, which is a nice light pink cardstock, that is supposed to go underneath the speckle paper and just stick out 1/4 of an inch on either side. Somehow I missed putting that with all my pieces. And so if you do this, you would have a pink edge sticking out on either side of the white. And so what I'm going to do, so I didn't realize yet what was going on. Going through lots of Tombow. My Tombow, I'm be glad to get through this pack that has to be gently handled. Anyway, this little piece, the sangria with the rose gold spots, goes an inch down from the top. And same thing for the other piece. So there we go. Now we would be putting this, actually the pink would stick out all the way around, and then you would be putting the sangria piece right up to the edge of the pink. And so it's right about now I'm thinking, uh-oh, I missed doing something. So, so I'm stymied, and then my sangria piece is kind of too stuck to go and pull it up. So am I going to pull this all off? And what I decide to do is to find the pink, and there it is. That's what's supposed to be underneath. And I'm just going to cut 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to cut 2 1/4-inch pieces off of my cardstock. There's one. And here's the second. And then I am going to place those on top of the sangria. So the bottom line is, I'm not perfect, but I can make the most of what I've done. So you're watching me so that you don't miss out on something. So there we go. And it's not as much of the sangria showing, but then again, there's still quite a bit. There's like 1 inch of it showing. And we've got our pink finishing off the edge of the white there. And it does add something to it, which it really does add something to it. It softens the color between the stark white and the dark sangria. So it it looks better with the ballerina in there than without. Okay, and then I'm going to put my pieces of bluebell cardstock, and these are the background frames for the 3x4 pictures. And the light side is going to go down and the dark side is going to go up. And so I'm measuring, it's 1 1/4 inches over from the left by 1 3/4 inches down from the top. And once again, the dark side is showing up, and it's supposed to be a horizontal piece, but I kind of, because of the butterfly and how one thing leads to another, my beautiful, had I planned this out better, could have been more over to the left and gone there, you know, the horizontal could have gone there. But I kind of put it in the middle. I really could have put it off to the left. That's too bad. So I don't want to do that and cover up the butterfly. So I'm going to have 2 verticals is what I'm going to do. And we're going like 1, 2, 2.5 or so, 2 1/4. Yeah, 2 1/2 up from the bottom and 1 1/4 over from the side. So we're almost finished here. And really, there's no speeding up. I mean, you can see I'm moving, sadly, very slow. But this only took me 21 minutes. And some of it was trying to make up for, you know, where I messed up. Now, these are the butterflies that we originally cut out from the centerpiece, and we used the solid butterfly and the open butterfly. And so these were the remnants from the open butterflies, and we're going to put those in place with some adhesive and just kind of place them by the other butterflies. So super pretty that we use all of the little pieces. And white on white is a really delicate look. Now you could totally add some clear shimmer to these white butterflies and just have them shimmer going up that center piece there, and that would be really pretty. So I'll take this time to say, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And at the bottom there it says dorothy.closetomyheart.com. That's where you can shop for any of the items that you see here. The layout mat, which has a spongy part on the back side for doing stamping. And the microtip scissors are the best scissors you can get. And these papers are going to be available May 1st, and they're called You Are Enough, and they are just glorious papers. So you can shop at dorothy.closetomyheart.com to purchase any of these things, and I would love it. But thank you so much for watching. Bye now.